I never really believed in ghost stories. Not in the way people told them. Sure, I've heard a few tall tales whispered across diesel fumes and coffee mugs at late-night truck stops. Phantom hitchhikers, shadowy figures staring from cornfields, CB radios picking up voices from nowhere. But to me, they were just the desperate campfire stories of lonely people burning rubber across the American highway. I always figured the only demons I had to face were the ones I brought with me. My name's Jason Dunn. I'm a long-haul driver. Have been for over a decade now. Been trying to outrun some things that I probably should have dealt with a long time ago. Namely, my drinking. I've been 6 months sober, white-knuckling it most days, if I'm honest. After my wife left with our daughter, I started seeing the bottom of the bottle more than I saw the road. But I got help, joined a group, and now I keep a sobriety chip in my pocket like a lucky charm. I was hauling a load of insulated panels from Kansas City down to a construction site just outside Mobile, Alabama. The stretch of Interstate 55 between Memphis and Jackson is long, straight, and maddening in its monotony. It was late, close to midnight, and my eyelids were heavy as hell. I had just passed through Grenada, Mississippi, and the GPS showed a rest area about 10 miles up. But when I got there, it was closed for maintenance. Figures. I was dead tired, though, and that's when I saw the sign. A hand-painted wooden board just past the tree line on a gravel shoulder. Kiln Hollow Diner, 2 miles ahead. Hot coffee, safe parking, open all night. Never seen it on any app or GPS, and trust me, I use them all. It looked old, like something that had been forgotten for years and just recently dug up. But at that point, my fatigue overruled my better judgment. I turned off the highway and followed the narrow road into the woods. The gravel turned to cracked pavement after a while, winding deeper into darkness until the trees opened up to a clearing. And there it was, the Kiln Hollow Diner. An old neon sign buzzed and flickered like it was on its last breath. The building itself looked like it had been transported straight from the 1950s. Aluminum siding, checkerboard tiles barely visible through grimy windows, and a parking lot half swallowed by weeds. But the open sign glowed red behind the dusty glass, and there were 3 big rigs parked in the lot. That gave me some comfort. If other drivers were here, it couldn't be that bad. I pulled my rig into the lot and shut it down. The hum of the engine died, and the silence that replaced it was so complete. It felt like something was pressing down on my chest. I grabbed my thermos and stepped out. The air was thick, not just humid. Thick, like walking through cobwebs or smoke you couldn't see. It carried a smell, too. Not foul, exactly, but off. Damp wood, rust, something burnt. The inside of the diner was worse. It was clean, but in a way that felt staged, like no one had eaten there in years. But someone came in just to make it look presentable. Plastic menus, no staff, no noise. Just an old jukebox in the corner playing some kind of slow, warbling blues. I saw the other truckers, 2 men and 1 woman, all seated at separate booths. Each one stared into their coffee, not saying a word. No phones, no conversation, just existing. I picked a booth near the window and sat down. The moment I did, a woman in a pale pink uniform appeared. Didn't hear her come out from the kitchen. Hell, I didn't hear her at all. "You'll have the coffee," she said, pouring before I could even nod. "Refills are on the house." Her eyes didn't quite meet mine. Too wide, too shiny. I sipped the coffee and immediately recoiled. It was scalding, bitter, and metallic, like someone boiled it in a rusty pipe. Thanks, I muttered, forcing it down. Needed to stay awake. That's when I noticed the clock. One of those old diner wall clocks with the numbers starting to fade. It read 12:17. I didn't think anything of it until I looked again 10 minutes later. Still 12:17. My watch, 12:17. Phone, no signal, no time. Just a spinning circle. Something wasn't right. Then I started hearing it. The first noise. Faint at first, like wind rustling through dead leaves, but with a pattern. Rhythmic. Repetitive. Almost like whispering. I looked up. The woman 2 booths down had turned toward me. Her eyes were gone. Hollow sockets staring through me like black pits. I blinked, and she looked normal again, sipping coffee, ignoring me. The lights flickered. I stood up, shaky, trying to gather my nerve. "You guys hear that?" I asked. No response. I stepped toward the counter, looking for a phone, maybe a landline. Nothing. Then I saw the photos. An entire wall of Polaroids behind the counter. Hundreds of them. All truckers. All men and women in reflective vests and ball caps. Smiling. At first. But as the pictures went on, the smiles faded. Their eyes grew dull. Their faces drawn. And in the very last row after row of empty booths in the background, I saw a photo of a man sitting alone at the booth where I'd just been. He looked like me. Number. He was me. My heart pounded. I stumbled back, knocking over a stool. "Something wrong, honey?" the waitress asked, voice flat. "What the hell is this place?" I asked. My voice shook. "It's just a place to rest," she said. "People get tired. They stay." I turned and bolted out the door. The other truckers didn't move, not even a glance. Outside, the night was darker than it should have been. The stars were gone, the air even thicker now. I ran to my truck and climbed in, slamming the door behind me. Turned the key. Nothing. Not a click. Not a spark. Then I saw something in the side mirror. A man. Tall. Thin. Wearing a driver's uniform like mine, but soaked. Dripping wet like he had just come from a lake. His mouth was open, but no sound came out. Just that same whispering, like his voice was stuck inside a broken speaker. He reached for the door. I screamed and locked it just as his fingers touched the handle. Then he vanished. I don't remember falling asleep. Maybe I passed out. Maybe something else. But I woke up to sunlight and the sound of chirping birds. I sat up, heart still racing. The diner was gone. No sign of it. No lot. No other trucks. Just trees and dirt where it had been. I was parked in a clearing that looked like no one had been there in decades. My rig started on the first try. I drove like a bat out of hell, ignoring every pit stop and rest area for the next 12 hours. Didn't stop till I hit a crowded gas station in Mobile. I went in, washed my face, and started asking about Kiln Hollow. The old man behind the counter looked at me like I was nuts. Then his eyes narrowed. "You said Kiln Hollow." "Yeah, an old diner, just off the 55 near." "There ain't no diner out there," he interrupted. But there was. He told me the story. Back in the 60s, a rest-stop diner called Kiln Hollow caught fire after a gas leak in the kitchen. 10 truckers died inside, burned alive in their sleep. Locals claimed the place was cursed. People who tried to reopen it went missing. Eventually, they tore it down. But the legend stuck. Every few years, some trucker would go missing along that stretch of highway. Last seen pulling into the woods near mile marker 148. Some even claim to see the diner again. You didn't go in, did you? The old man asked. I didn't answer. I wish I could say it ended there, that I just had a bad dream and moved on. But it didn't. Every time I close my eyes now, I see that clock. 12:17. Sometimes I hear the whispering through the static of my radio, even when it's turned off. I've been seeing my own face in places it shouldn't be. Reflections in windows that don't match my expression. Polaroids in truck stop bulletin boards where I know I've never posed. And my sobriety chip? It's gone. In its place, in my coat pocket, is something else. A photo of me sitting in that booth at the Kiln Hollow diner. Only this time, I'm not alone. There's a tall, soaking wet man beside me, whispering something into my ear. And the clock in the background, still 12:17.
If you enjoyed this video, please give us a like and please subscribe. Your support will help us tremendously. Thank you.